Hello guys. Seems people were quite unsure about the dialogues. I've done a video about the dialogues before, so this is going to be my second video about dialogues, although this time I'm going to cover cut resources, which is very similar to dialogues except the player still has control over the character. So I'm going to show you the dialogue now. So I'm inside my mission. Just go call my script, and you can see the dialogue on the screen now, and it'll change, and it's using live variables, which means it's actually dynamic. If I show you again, you'll see the time would have changed, and that's because it's using variables that it's got from the mission. Don't ask me what 46.768 means with time, I'm not sure. I just used the time command and assumed it would give me the time, but ArmA being ArmA, that's not the case. So let me show you what's going on here. Inside the mission we have a trigger which is called via radio alpha, and this will run the script called resource.sqf. And we have a player. Now if we move into our scripts, I have 3 scripts inside the mission. So we've got dialogues, description and call resource. In description, all I have is include dialogues.hpp, which is the same as this. So we can close that after you've done that. So this is where the meat of the script is. This is our dialogues.hpp, and this is different from our other dialogues that I've done in the other video, because this time we're using resource titles. So we have inside our class of resource titles, we have our default, which is what I will use to close the our resource. And we have the resource that you just seen. So if we have a look through these, IDD, don't really have to worry about that. Moving enable, I've set that to 0. Enable simulation, enable display, set that to 1. Duration, this is how long the display will appear on screen, set to 999 to keep it on screen indefinitely until we decide to close it. The time it takes for the cut resource to fade in and to fade out. The name, I've named it Hater HUD, the same as the class. This is important. On load, we put our name into here. So this basically saves all our controls here into the namespace, which is called Hater HUD. This will make sense in a minute when I explain it. Finally, we've got class controls, and under that we have our structured text. So here we have IDC, that's important because that's what we'll use to identify the text, and this will allow us to update it in the game, as you've just seen. This is the position of the text. As you saw, it's fairly low down, and it is a long bar, horizontal. The size, don't worry about that. Colour of the background, we changed that dynamically in the mission. I'll show you that in a bit. Colour text, because we're using structured text, we're not using this. We're using a colour which is defined in the attributes. So this is some basic stuff really to do with just how the text looks. So with font, the colour, how it's aligned, how it's vertically aligned, if we have shadow on or off, shadow colour, and the size of it. So it's fairly basic really. I'll link this file below so you can download and have a look through yourself. So next we're going to have a look at our call resource. This is how the resource is called. Oh, and by the way, if you want to know how to make these yourself, check out my previous video where I show you how to use the GUI editor inside ArmA 3. So back to our call resource. Remember, this is called through our radio trigger, which we have here. So when I call the radio, this happens. First we disable serialization. This basically means that we can change the our cut resources and dialogues, etc. within the script, this script here. So here we're calling our resource. So 1, this is our ID of the resource. This will be useful in a minute when I'll explain to you why. The header hood, this is simply the class name. The plane, just leave that. Some variables. And we have our wait until. So this basically waits until the script has loaded the header hood. You see on load, when we call the cut resource, it will load all this into our variable. So after that's done, we get our variable, as I explained earlier, and we save it into the display. So display basically has this inside it. And then to identify which control we want to change, we get the display IDC, which is 1001, and we're getting 1001, and that's saved into our set text. So now we can mess around with what's shown in the script. So for the first 5 seconds we'll display our name. As you see, control set structured text, so this changes the text which would otherwise be here. And we've just got a parse text format, which means we can add fancy colours and etc. And we've got our welcome format, which gets our variable name, which is our name of a player, and we're changing the background colour using the same display control. So as you can see, if we were changing the background colour in a static way, we would be using this command here, but because we're changing it within the script itself, we can just alter it here and change it throughout the mission. After 5 seconds of sleep, we just change the text and we change the background colour. After another 5 seconds, we change the text again, change the background colour again, because we can. And then after the final 5 seconds, I call my default cut resource, which is this one, which I showed you earlier. And this will basically display nothing and close our header hood. So I did mention what this number means earlier. 1 basically refers to the cut resource ID. So we could technically have 2 header hoods come up by doing this, and then the second one wouldn't be closed with this result, with this command. To close both of them, we would have to have this, like so. So, hope that makes sense. So, like usual, I'm just going to run through the mission again, show you what's going on. If you like these videos, please check out my other scripting videos. It will be, I'm sure you'll find some of them useful. So, here we go. Welcome Banger Bob. After 5 seconds, we change the background and the text. And after another 5 seconds, we've changed our display again. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.